Two. Okay, so it's officially live now. It should be live on YouTube as well.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. So welcome to LonelyFans podcast. We got a stack group today. I'm your host, Carson Daly, and we're just going to go around the panel. So to my right is going to be Bear Whiskey. Go ahead, kick it off.
I'm Bear.
Typical dudes, a fun guy. We got Josh Sheen, Robin Sarah, and Albie, the usual suspect. And tonight's topic is going to be Loki. So, Albie shirt, there you go. All right, so who would like to kick us off? What did you guys think?
I will say, out of all I think the MCU shows overall have been excellent, and they all bring something different to the table, but Loki is probably the best all around so far. Even though personally, and we don't have to get into detail, personally, Falcon and Winter Soldier might be my personal favorite, but I am not going to argue that Loki is like the best MCU show we have so far.
All right. I'm going to counter that.
All right.
Like one thing. All right. So remember the scene in the first Avengers where Loki's stuck in the prison and haunting Black Widow, and he's like, I don't know, he says all these horrible things, and it's like this terrible torture. And it's like, wow, this guy's really like sadistic and messed up in his head, and he's pretty evil. Yeah, I can see him as an antagonist. Okay. So technically, that scene happened, and then we fast forward, and here he is getting arrested at the end of the whole Avengers fight, and then boom, he slips into the portal. It's like, okay, that's the Loki we're dealing with, this really crazy sadistic person that hasn't had all this growth through the other movies yet. So then we get to Loki in the show, and then by a few episodes in, he's got a blanket around some girl. He's like, all nice and charming. I'm like, what happened, man? You were about ready to like kill an entire population, and now you're like, oh, I kind of care about things. And I'm like, feel like even though he saw his entire life like flash before him and where he ends up and all that, I feel like his correct response would have been, now that I know that, I can do it better. And then I kind of feel like they missed the gun there, but that would be my one critique regarding that.
And I honestly, now that you said that, would be an interesting take, but being that it's a Disney Plus show and they want like you want your protagonist to be a protagonist, they went that route instead. And I think that was the best way to do it, by showing not just everything that happened to him afterwards, but the one that really struck him is that he got his mother killed. Like the only person that he probably really cared about, the person that taught him the tricks that he did, the only person that practically believed him in, other than Odin, he's responsible for her death, which honestly they didn't really talk about in the other, when he appears in the other like MCU stuff. They didn't really talk about, they barely talked about in Thor Dark World where it actually happened. And they probably didn't talk about enough in Ragnarok, which, you know, it's one of my favorite ones, but I can recognize that they probably didn't delve into that part. At least in Loki, they kind of showed like the emotional effects it had on him. And I think the B thing of why he started to maybe, you know, have feelings is that, and this is very egotistical of him, but when he met a version of himself that he liked, which honestly I thought that was a very twisted thing to do, but I thought it worked to an extent. But also meeting Sylvie, that also kind of changed like his perspective a lot. You know, he met a female version of himself, and yeah, man.
Well, let's just call it what it is. They had 6 episodes. They had to speed rush his character development.
So I see what Albert was saying about like the protagonist, but like look at like WandaVision. Like she was genuinely a bad person.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the best Marvel TV show so far.
Okay.
I think that she was genuinely a bad guy the entire time, even at the end. And she just didn't even care about these people.
Yep.
And then walked away, and then still continues to be a bad person. So it's like, you say that, but Loki's whole like character arc is he's supposed to be a bad guy, and they kind of played him off as this like Disney person, you know, like like they Disney him up real well, you know. I mean, they could have continued his arc better, but
I feel like that was still like a well-crafted story, though. I mean, it was nice to kind of explore different
fall in love
parts
with yourself. I mean,
fall in love with yourself, but also explore like different parts. I mean, I really like the sequence where they had the fight together to try to get on that ship, and of course, in the end, that like failed. drastically, but it was nice to see him like.
But the whole like falling in love with yourself thing is a little weird.
Yeah,
it's like me going up to a mirror and going like, "Dang, I look good," and then trying to kiss the mirror, right? Like,
yeah, but
don't do that every
didn't really need to be
Fair.
there. I feel like.
Fair, you don't look like Sylvie. I'm just saying.
Maybe not to you. You've never seen me in a mirror, so.
But I thought there were also creative sequences, not just Sylvie when he's facing like one of my favorite sequences is in the I think it was the second to last episode where he meets multiple versions of himself, like a lot of versions of himself. They could not get a single thing done because they're too busy trying to screw each other over. And actually, that's something that continues on to the very end. It's like, can you trust Loki?
Okay, but
No matter
why did not Loki's already come out? Like they've already come out and said that he's bisexual and he's gender fluid. Why didn't he fall in love with the other versions of himself too?
Because Sylvie was the best version of him, probably the one that tried to survive the most.
Okay, but that's all right. So how do we even know Loki's relationship? We only know really by like kind of like some of the body language stuff and by that really awkward kiss at the end that just felt shoehorned in there. Like, what the heck? Like, this didn't
Like the end of the kiss on freaking Rise of Skywalker.
Yes.
Oh,
Hey, man.
oh no.
Hey,
But
man.
what
I
kiss-
didn't watch that.
Yeah,
Did I watch that? I didn't watch
there's no like development to that like relationship. Like we're kind of like trying to pull like, oh, okay, maybe it was like him loving himself, which is totally a Loki thing to do, but they didn't really convey that very clearly. It's like, oh yeah, you could think that way if you wanted to, but it's like, well, yeah, is that the story you're trying to tell?
Maybe an extra episode could have helped, but
Yeah, I mean, they
I
probably
thought
did
overall,
this, like maybe over like 2 or 3 seasons, and it could have been this really cool like drawing. Like Loki, for example, that was really great. I hope they keep her as a villain because like that's an awesome villain. You can see the motivations. Like one of the problems with villains is like I'm super evil, blah blah blah, and it's like that's a crap villain. Like who can do that? But like this, a villain like Thanos or something that has like this character and this has this backstory, you're like, okay, now I can see myself in that character. This is actually terrifying. Let's see how this plays out. And then it's like, whoa, cool. And then I felt like they robbed me. And I was like, this guy is the worst villain ever. It's like he had like potential build-up to be really sadistic and weird and crazy, and it's like all this stuff. And they have Norse mythology, which they're deliberately pulling from. And they go really accurate with that. So I was just like, oh man, like you could have done something with this character, but
Wait, are you saying that Loki is the villain?
I think it's a great. It's totally great.
Yes, the hair.
So what's wrong with him falling in love with Sylvie? Because technically she's a different person.
I don't want to say it.
Hey man, if there was a variant of me, I'm just kidding, babe. My fiance's in them. If there's a variant version of me, a female version, and it's attractive, I don't see a problem with that.
I would.
This is no reflection on the YouTube channel and my toy reviews, by the way. It's completely separate from that.
I would be I'd probably be annoyed about a female version of myself. I think we would like get nowhere. We'd both be miserable. I drink rum to get into this really bad spiral. It's like I think we should break up, but we don't know who else to turn to. Gosh, that sucks.
All right, no more drinks for Albert. That's it. It was just something cringy about it the entire time. I was like, please don't.
Yeah,
do
but okay,
Really?
let's think
You
about
got that
it.
feeling?
We've seen things a lot more cringy, like Game of Thrones. It was all cringy romances. Walking Dead was just a stupid job. There was nothing cringy.
And those both ended so well, right?
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
man.
true. Game of Thrones was not a good ending.
Right.
I mean, we don't speak on that.
I feel like just because they kiss, it's not like here's a good thing. Out of all the shows that we have, this one can actually have a second season. So yeah, they kiss, but that doesn't like solidify anything. It doesn't solidify a relationship. It doesn't like solidify like, oh, like they're going to be together forever. It's just something that can take it to the next step. And what was interesting is, yeah, he kissed her, but what the funny thing is, maybe for a second you thought, oh, he convinced her, but no, he said, but I'm not you, which I think that's a key line to keep in mind.
Yeah.
And then kicks him away. So, and maybe that's the other reason why I like Loki a lot is that it's not done at these 6 episodes. Falcon and Winter Soldier, that is technically probably it. I mean, yeah, there's going to be a Captain America 4, but we don't know if even Bucky's going to be involved in that. And WandaVision, well, we don't know if we're going to get a second season because we know she's going to be heavily involved in Doctor Strange. The second.
Isn't she supposed to be like the main bad guy in that?
She might be. She might be the main bad guy.
I would love.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'll be all for it.
Jameson, Sheen, what are you guys' thoughts on this? Is it okay to love a variant of yourself?
Go ahead, Jameson. I'll let you go first on that one.
So, in all honesty, nobody's wrong in this conversation. Just ask your variant. Hey, I got the hots for you. You want to do a thing or no? Weird. All right. You and your variant, you'll come to an agreement, or you won't. It's
My variant said no.
If the variant says no, then consent is everything, right? If the variant says no, then it's no. In the show,
But
I liked how. Go ahead. Who's talking? Sorry.
oh, I'm sorry. I just want to comment. But Albert, that wouldn't stop you from yourself.
Oh, I stopped myself a lot, anyways. All right,
So-
that fun guy.
So on that topic, it's like, between you and the variant. For the show, Sylvie and Loki, I didn't want it clear cut. I wanted it to be awkward and we don't know as an audience. I'd rather than that.
Yeah.
And we still kind of have that, but I'd rather have been more ambiguous, I think. Will they kiss? We don't know. Yada, yada, yada. I mean, it works. They're not done, so I can't speak on it as a finale.
We're gonna have a season 2.
It's like you're definitely getting season 2, Stan.
Season 2 of like awkward moments, going like, yeah, about that. The writers wanted to write that up. I mean, insert dialogue here, but you never know.
I would say probably. I mean, obviously, like you guys said, we're having a second season of it, so maybe we explore that kind of like a fun guy said that with Sylvie possibly being seen in the second season. Do they explore that, or they just kind of it's a one-off and continue on?
but why put it in there if it was a one-off?
Have you not watched TV before?
Yeah, but this is
They've always put in random things. Are you trying to tell me in Friends when Ross and Rachel kissed for the first time, then we're like, 10 years later, we're going to also have another lame-ass kiss?
Hey, man.
No.
Don't talk
Just say
about
They were
friends
taking
like
it
that.
year by year. Okay?
Just-
I'm done.
Just say how you really
doesn't
feel about
Disney
Friends,
always
Albert.
have a plan for like the entire series?
Oh,
No. Have you seen
No.
the Star Wars universe?
Oh, damn.
Let's do this right here. Right.
Well,
So they want to circumvent expectations.
I just want to give a shout out to our boy Splash. Juan's in here. He said this is amazing.
Thank you.
The Don Juan.
I asked him if he wants to join. I sent him the link.
Very cool.
All right, enough about the variant and Sylvie and all that weird stuff. Let's jump into Kang the Conqueror. Or they never officially called him Kang.
They didn't.
And I was actually shocked that was a payoff because the last 2 series was kind of like lame in terms of the ending. So my expectations was really low. It's like, it's just going to be someone that's a variant of Loki.
Yep.
I
That's what
was
I
wrong.
think.
I'm happy I was wrong about that. I'm like, I was
Yeah.
wrong. Awesome.
I agree.
Okay.
I think a key thing we have to keep in mind is that they announced Jonathan Majors playing Kang like a while ago for Ant-Man.
Mhm.
So I go like, okay, that's interesting because let's say we didn't know that announcement at all. It wouldn't have been obvious that was Kang. It would have been taken a while. But I think I found out later that Jonathan Majors was cast as Kang in Ant-Man 3 because of Loki. So it actually started with like Loki first. So I'm saying Disney kind of has a plan right now. We don't know how it might work. We'll see.
Maybe he'll kiss one of his variants. You don't know.
Ooh, I don't know.
I mean, I like that they referred to Kang the Conqueror in the show at one point, where he's talking about his different names that he's had in the past, and one of them was a Conqueror, which was kind of cool. So
Yeah.
and
Without
I like
telling
that.
you.
Yeah, when he used this little 3D animations on there. They were wearing the
love that.
actual Kang outfit the entire time. Like as it got progressively worse when they were fighting each other.
Before we move on, Bear, someone named Thomas Hunt said Big Bear.
That's my boy
So-
Tommy. I actually saw
What's
him
up,
earlier
Tom?
today.
Shout out to Tommy.
Shout out to Tommy.
Let's also maybe talk about Jonathan Major's performance in general. I thought that was a
Let's do
Oh,
it.
yeah. He killed it.
impressive
Very good
He
job.
did.
I
Very-
shamefully haven't seen Lovecraft Country, but I did see him in The
I
Five
should.
Bloods. He played
I
a
haven't watched
Deadpool Lindo's son, and he was like, yeah. I was like, really? And based on what I've seen him in The Five Bloods and what I've seen him in Loki, it's like two completely different performances. So the dude's already shown that he's got a lot
Yeah.
of work. So
He's a great actor. He did a great job making it feel like kind of creepy, and you could tell he's been alone
Yeah.
for too long. Just
Mhm.
kind of talking to himself, and like the way he reacts to things, where he just knows there's nothing he can really do about it.
He's got like a script of what's gonna happen.
Yeah, it sounds like they gave him like he was reading the script as he went. He was just kind of going with whatever.
yeah. Also, kind of that sense of I'm ready to be done. Please,
Yeah.
something happen, kill me or take over. I'm done. So
He's already a bigger threat than Thanos,
Yeah,
and he's only appeared in
all
one
day.
episode.
yeah,
All day.
Yeah.
Syria.
See the next
And that was
Thanos
the point.
next phase.
Yeah, I think he is.
It's
But I
gonna
think-
be him most.
sorry.
No, I don't think they're gonna do a big team up thing anymore. I think
No.
I said it before. I think it's gonna go in like different like teams for like separate movies. Like you'll see crossovers, but I don't think we're gonna see like a big battle anymore like we did in Avengers.
You know who's gonna sneak in though? In my opinion, I'm calling it now. Galactus.
Yeah,
That new
Gal-
figure didn't come out for no reason. He's gonna sneak in.
Oh, the HasLab. We can talk
He's gonna
toys
sneak
if you
in.
guys want to talk toys. But
I think it's gonna be Kang and then Galactus instead of Kang or maybe Shuma-Gorath, maybe in Doctor Strange. Maybe.
Good.
So if there's a bunch of Kangs, are there going to be a bunch of Wandas and a bunch of Doctor Stranges and
Ooh.
have this like army of Sorcerer Supreme?
That's how you have like the Secret Wars.
We'll see if
That's
there's a bunch
true.
of Spider-Mans coming out.
That's
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
That's true.
So far.
I think that they're gonna turn like this, and this is the reason why like you get the theories on like Spider-Man having like Tobey Maguire and what's that bad one, Andrew Garfield.
Whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Let's say mediocre at best.
Yeah.
Oh, Pac Buzz,
That's the
come
way.
back.
What's their way to like pull them into the universe and kind of go with that like rumor that's going on, and of course Multiverse of Madness. Like
There we go.
it's so. But
Where
he
it
probably
doesn't look like
that-
Andrew Garfield. It
Yeah,
looks like
I was about to say
Ricky
that
Martin.
thing's probably a better actor than he is.
Oh wow,
Oh man. Going in on
man!
I've got a lot to say about that guy.
going
Hey
on
man,
Marvel.
have you seen Social Network?
No, I
He's
feel
good
like
at
this is
social
how they're
network.
pulling into that multiverse of madness. Is the whole point of Doctor Strange is going to be him trying to like fix everything or try to get everything kind of in line to where we're not all fighting each other at that point.
Yeah.
And then of course Spider-Man's going to be happening most likely at the same time. So that's when he's going to start opening up these realities and bringing other Spider-Man and stuff into it.
Better
Spider-
ones, yeah.
Spider-Man's coming first, and Doctor Strange is supposed to show up in there. So
Yeah.
Because
Hopefully we
villains
get a
will
trailer
cross
sooner
over.
than later.
Yeah, dude, I'm
Villains will
waiting
cross
on
over
it.
multiple universes. Like Doc Octopus will be in regular MCU, and like, oh snap, how'd he get here? Stuff like that. Shocker.
Dude, that's already
Fox.
confirmed. Alfred Molina is
Yeah.
going to show up as Doc Ock, and then Jamie
And then one
Foxx
of
is coming
the-
as Electro.
It's official.
God.
That glow
You
stick.
ready?
Right. I think everyone was surprised because he wasn't anywhere near the best Spider-Man villain we've seen, but that he was the first one announced saying we're bringing Jamie Foxx into that movie, and I was like, okay.
Yay!
He said,
It's a wait and see. Okay, we'll wait and see. I wasn't too thrilled in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Whoa,
I
he
haven't seen
just looks cool, man. I mean, how do you not?
I mean, I'll pick Andrew Garfield over Tobey Maguire any day. So
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
But-
sorry.
and-
Okay.
and I'm not-
Spider-Man 3 was better than anything Andrew Garfield's come out.
Whoa,
No,
whoa,
Okay,
no, no, no,
I'm
no.
gonna have to
no, no,
disagree
no,
with
no,
that.
No.
I
No,
felt
no.
Amazing Spider-Man, the Andrew Garfield's first one. It wasn't bad. It was just kind of weird because it was too close to Tobey Maguire's first movie. So you kind of watch it and you go like, I see what you're doing, but it's still not too different. Not too different story-wise. Like basic outline's not too different from Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. It just had a different in tone where it was kind of like a bit grittier. Andrew Garfield was more emo than nerdy, and it was trying to fit during whatever that. When did it come out? Like 2010 or something.
I
It was trying to
forgot,
fit
honestly.
that angsty time.
Let's talk
period
about
for
Spider-Man
kids.
3 for a second. You want to talk about emo?
Well, okay,
Oh,
You
So-
remember this?
word
Come on.
correction.
that ruined
When
the
I meant
whole
emo, I
movie.
meant more angst. I'm talking like teen angst. I'm talking if Sean Hunter from Boy Meets World became Spider-Man. That's what I was referring to. So, please, someone get that.
Albert, I think you're the only one.
Toby fingers.
No, that whole scene ruined the whole movie for me. That's just me, though. It was just a
It did.
very awkward. I don't know where they were going with it. I don't. That's just me.
I think they were trying to be funny, but they just missed it.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think Rob's
Toby's
Or
dance and then
Maybe
Spider-Man
Sam
3.
Raimi purposely made it bad because he didn't want
Yeah.
Venom at all in Spider-Man 3.
Oh,
So here they are, like telling him, all right, we got to do this villain thing where he, the symbiote takes over him.
Yeah.
And Sam Raimi goes like, all right, fuck you. I'm going to write this stupid dance routine.
that might have worked.
Work
That
with
might
you
have been it.
fuckers again.
Because Venom
Back to the
shouldn't
actual
have been
topic of Kang, I thought they did a great job. I'm glad it wasn't
Sorry.
another Mephisto issue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. That's why
Yeah.
I managed my expectations about that. Dude.
Yeah, right. It's gonna pop up with somebody random, and everyone's like, "Who? Agatha all along? What?"
Yeah. More like another character that's introduced and it just like turns to this whole thing. Like get another like Valentina or something.
Yeah.
Which,
Bye, Josh.
Bye.
No, because I wanted to add somebody
wow.
else.
Hey.
Batman made it into the stream.
said Tobey Maguire?
Batman
I've seen
made it
Sex
stream.
Dungeons before, but this one's out of this world.
Oh, that's not Josh anymore. That's Juan. Oh, damn.
that is Pop.
That is
Popped in.
Poplet.
Hey,
Hey,
guys.
Pop popped in. What up, kid?
Oh,
we talking
about Spider-Man? We were. Andrew Garfield versus Spider-Man 3.
Andrew Garfield.
Thank you.
Hey, Doug.
Look at
Hey,
Bear's
Shane.
face. Bear's like, nah. Bear's like, nah. So,
But yeah, overall, I thought that WandaVision was the best.
Okay.
This was a close second to that, and I think that I did like Falcon and Winter Soldier, but there was so much that was cut out of the show that the show just seemed kind of thrown together real quick because they had
Yeah.
cut off like half the season to film over other things that were more sensitive.
hold on, man. I had to jump on. Did you say WandaVision was better than this one?
I think 100% WandaVision was better than this one.
What? No,
Yeah.
the first 3 episodes sucked because they're just recreating sitcoms.
They were
So?
tighter. The narrative was tighter. They were more self-contained and episodic, and also just objectively well done in
Yeah.
terms of cinematography and
Oh
Yes.
no. Subjectively.
okay, fine, fair enough.
Not I'm joking.
Here's what I feel like. I do agree with what Sarah said. Yeah, cinematography amazing. I thought they were spot on as far as like I know they were recreating those sitcoms, but they were really spot on when it came to that. And it was a good transition when things start to get real too. I thought that was amazing.
Mhm.
I think the only thing that was not necessarily missing in WandaVision, but something I like to see is in an MC movie is the big spectacle. Like I feel like the big spectacle in Loki, it looked like, I'm only saying looked like, maybe not, but it looked like Loki had a bigger budget, so they got to do a lot more with like, like going into different worlds, action sequences, while WandaVision had to be a bit less like that. Because I felt like the very last episode, you can tell that they probably really wanted to do a big crazy fight scene between Wanda and Agatha, but they were trying to remind you, hey, this is a TV budget, so it didn't quite happen. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just that when watching that, I felt like, okay, this is the route we're going. That Loki kind of showed me, no, you guys can go a bit beyond that. So that that's my general take. And I'm not trying to fault WandaVision. I'm just saying there was clearly a little bit of a different approach. And maybe it's possibly because Loki is quite simply, at least before all these TV shows were coming out, Loki is probably the more popular character. I mean, we've known him for the Thor movies. I know he's appeared in Avengers movies. So, they probably put a little bit more money into Loki because he's the more well-known character. But hopefully after WandaVision, that changes. I mean, I think she's become very popular now, and they'll probably put more resources into her.
Wasn't the whole point of WandaVision is you wanted it to be small and contained, because that was the whole point of the show? And it being...
Not at the end.
For the person watching, even when at the end, when it expanded out, it didn't expand that far out. So as the person watching the show, you wanted to feel like you were in this containment with her, in this small little bubble.
I'd say 95% of the show, yes. But at the end, maybe I wouldn't mind it going a little bit all out.
Wasn't Doctor Strange supposed to be in it? Oh, sorry, Sarah. Wasn't Doctor Strange supposed to be in it?
Originally, he was supposed to be in it, but they kind of went no, which I'm not saying it's bad.
There's two reasons why. There's two reasons why I say Loki's better is because the payoff was better in Loki than it was in WandaVision. My opinion. I guess that's fans' fault though for the hype, who we thought was going to be behind it, and also I didn't like how they did my man from Fox's Quicksilver dirty like that, calling him Ralph Boner.
That was kind of rough for everybody though.
Ralph.
But I actually like the fight scene with Wanda and Agatha at the end. I'm a fan of those.
I like the fight scene with Quicksilver and Monet Rambeau.
Cool.
Yeah.
Monica in the room. He's on the guitar and she's going for it. He's like, pushes her. That was so good.
That's probably actually another reason, because Monica Rambeau's character is supposed to be like a character out of this world. Granted, this is only the beginning of her, but at the same time, something like that, you kind of need to see something bigger. But at the same time, maybe it's because we're just getting to know her and we're going to see more from her in Miss Marvel.
You are. She's probably spun off a whole new species because she mutated when she walked through the field.
Yeah.
So what do you think the chances are? Because you mentioned it, Sarah, if there's going to be other Doctor Stranges coming around, you think they'll bring back Ed Norton's Hulk and that too? There might be a chance.
I see what you did.
Maybe he wants to. I don't know.
He might not want to.
Yeah, I think he decided to stop playing the Hulk.
They could just use a CGI. They could just use a CGI.
You're right. Edward Norton is so big that they probably could just CGI Edward Norton.
Actually, the problem is he's the same Hulk as Mark Ruffalo. You want David Banner's Hulk.
Eric.
Do we though?
Do we though?
Do we?
I do. I don't care what you're gonna say. Eric Bana is awesome.
He
wasn't.
He's a great actor, but
he wasn't the reason why Hulk was bad. The reason why Ang Lee's Hulk was bad was because, this was probably the only second or third big superhero movie coming out. Because before that, all we had was Spider-Man. So this is them trying to do it again, and then the special effects didn't quite catch up. And
I'm reading Juan's message right now. The Doctor Strange best solo Marvel movie. I think Doctor Strange is the best origin Marvel movie right now. Personal opinion.
It seems like you guys don't appreciate great art, like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, Ed Norton's Hulk.
Here,
Man.
let me.
Do you think Abomination that's in Shang-Chi is going to be from another reality, or is it going to be the same Abomination?
No,
it's got to be the same one.
It's the same one. It's Blonsky. They said it's Blonsky. They already, I think they confirmed it. That's supposed to be Blonsky. Yeah.
Also, Tim Roth is supposed to be in She-Hulk, so they're probably going to find a way to connect it to She-Hulk.
So is She-Hulk just another variant of the Hulk, and they're going to kiss?
No. She's supposed to be his cousin, right?
It didn't stop Loki from
Hey man, they're different people. Dude.
It did not.
It's a story about self-love.
There you go.
You have to love yourself in order to love others.
But
Same
literally
here.
love yourself though.
Yeah, what?
See, there we go.
There we go.
I
Poor
think
Albert.
Loki is better.
Good.
And
I won't argue with
right at the end.
that. She was definitely more ruthless.
Tried to kill King.
Well, they've already said that there's going to be a season 2, and the director already said that she's not going to do it. So we'll
Oh.
see who
Really?
they bring in for it.
Really?
Yeah.
They did?
Oh,
Damn.
So we'll see
Hopefully
who they
Michael
bring
Bay
for
is
it.
free.
Oh,
I can already envision Michael Bay. He's gonna tell Sylvie, "Okay, I need you to get into the skimpy corset," and she's like, "Why? What does that have to do with the story? It doesn't matter." Okay,
just do it.
and
It
then
doesn't matter.
The actress
We're
is
gonna
like, why do you keep
change
calling
your-
me Megan?
we're gonna have you go to different times through a time machine. She goes like, "I don't need to go through a time machine." No, it doesn't matter. So your time machine is this Ferrari, okay? I want you to go in this Ferrari, and this is how you're gonna travel through time. Okay, and then I'm gonna need you to wash this car.
A lot. Just rewash it.
And then she's gonna say no, and then he's gonna try to call Megan Fox again, and Megan fusses up.
Is Mark Wahlberg going to be in this movie too?
Yeah, it's
Nice.
what about Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah, I was gonna.
Damn.
Well, he's technically canceled, so
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah, he's got enough.
Let's not get into that. All right, next topic.
Next
next time.
In short, next topic. Fuck Shia LaBeouf. Next.
Long live even Stevens. I think. Dude, I was reading somewhere. I think this whole multiverse thing is like an easy way for them to acknowledge, like, oh, okay, we've done those past movies like Blade and X-Men and all that, so that's just variants or something like that.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Which
Time
would
to
be
cash
cool.
out, you know?
Yeah, man.
You don't
Let's
know
go.
what's-
It
Is this
could
to
also
give
be
them
that
the-
they're having trouble like casting, like who are they going to cast as Wolverine? So like, oh, maybe this will give us an excuse to bring back Hugh Jackman.
Well, I know
They
Hugh
are.
Jackman's already like
I think-
kind of hinting that he was coming back as Wolverine.
Yeah, he's coming back.
He shouldn't have to. I think it ended well with Logan.
Well,
But I think
yeah.
Mel Gibson's in the running
Plus-
as Old Man Logan.
I kind of want to see
Gibson.
more. I want to see more comic accurate Wolverine, where he's supposed to be like he's not supposed to be like
Short and
walking
stocky.
tall and slim. He's supposed to be like
Yeah.
hunched over and like super like muscular legs.
Yeah.
So
So kind of like me.
yeah, kind of like you. Only
I say let's do it.
doesn't go to Popeyes as much.
Hey, man.
Like I actually, it was only a fan rumor, but it was like someone like Henry Cavill could play Wolverine. I was like, that
He could, but he shouldn't.
probably work.
I say Danny
You should.
DeVito.
Oh, from It's Always Sunny. It was
Danny DeVito, I love
Correct. I agree with Juan again. Let him. Juan says, let him in with Logan. He won't top it. He's not going to top
That's
Logan's
true.
performance. I agree.
That's true.
He will not top it.
So,
Now, if they do a Maestro movie and Old Man Logan shows up, that would be cool. He's dead, so maybe not. Do something.
I like how you say Maestro.
The Maestro.
The Maestro.
What, Albert, what was the guy who was in the movie? I think it was who was Eggsy?
Mel Gibson.
Taylor Edgerton.
Yeah, he was. I think he was
Talking about
rumored
Elton
to
John?
play Wolverine as well.
I'd be okay with that. He'd have to really beef up even more.
Calm down, Albert.
Well, I'm just
Yeah, he's gonna.
It's okay, man.
not. I'm
The
not
Bridgerton
spending
guy's
time
not gonna be in
like
it either.
envisioning beefy men.
Some
Actually,
of us.
speaking of this, did we? I knew it wasn't going to happen, but you think at some point in the show Chris Hemsworth needs to show up? Like,
I thought he was supposed to be there. Yeah.
yeah.
There's apparently a deleted scene where he turned Thor into a frog. It was when he was being crowned. Yeah,
And that's the Throg.
Oh yeah, because there was a few trailer scenes that weren't in there.
because they found out it was TV, and
Actually-
Chris Hemsworth didn't want to do TV.
Oh, bro.
You guys think he's going to show up in Thor: Love and Thunder? Maybe like Loki's going to show up in Thor: Love and Thunder, or is
Nope.
that-
I
No,
think so.
I don't think
I
so.
think it's a
that's
good
gonna be
cast
like
already.
that's gonna be like an outside movie.
I think he
But-
shows up in Doctor Strange
I'm
before he
okay
shows
with
up.
it. Yeah, that makes more sense.
I know he did the voice for Frog Thor though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's dope.
There's a suggestion from Juan. He said make a solo Gambit movie and overpay for Jared
Ooh,
Leto to
here
play
we
him.
go.
Come on.
Okay.
And
No,
there
No.
we go.
Come on,
Talk
man.
about
And
Jared
there it
Leto.
starts.
I would prefer we bring back Channing Tatum, who was originally supposed to play Gambit.
Yeah.
Check it out though. If you
I'm
guys
not
haven't
saying
peeped it,
it's perfect casting choice. When the casting happened, I went like, oh, that might be interesting, and it ended up not happening.
He did that on purpose. I like everyone's like reaction in unison. It's just like, oh,
Sure.
Jared Leto.
to be fair though, there is
It's
a
supposed to be
Gambit movie
Morbius. Are they
out.
bringing that into canon at this point? If
Oh
it's like
yeah.
Yeah, because we got to get Eddie Brock in there, dude. We gotta
I
get
can tell
Venom
you
in
how
there.
that movie's gonna end. It's gonna suck.
Oh wow.
So
Shouldn't Jared Leto go back to Finger 11 or wherever he was from?
here's
30 seconds to Mars.
Yeah.
here's the good news. Good news number one, there's a fan Gambit movie out. I saw it for free. Should be on YouTube. Pretty good one shot, right? Number two, Mobius shouldn't suck since it had a good budget. You know, I think he is.
Can we talk about Venom for a second? Oh,
Oh, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a masterpiece, dude. Woody Harrelson is Carnage.
Look,
Oh,
He got
I
one
like
wig. That's
Harrelson.
let there be
Woody-
carnage. He has a wig now.
Woody Harrelson's in a lot.
He
of
said,
Logging
Juan said
off.
logging off.
He knows how I feel about this.
I can appreciate Woody Harrelson wearing that wig too. I mean, it's not easy for bald guys to pull it off. So more props.
and
to
he
him.
didn't pull it off.
He did for the second movie, I'll tell you
I
that.
see what you did there.
He
I
goes
see
like,
what you did there.
he goes like, when I get out of here, and I will, there will be carnage.
Man, that is brilliant writing.
That's the
Albert,
title
you
of
should
that
just
movie.
be that.
Just in case you didn't know. That's the title. It's Woody Harrelson in a wig.
Yeah.
I wonder if they got that. Sorry, Sarah, the farm I did something really stupid.
Whatever.
Sorry, what if they got George Lucas to do the dialogue for Venom?
Oh,
What it sounds like.
What are you talking about? George Lucas is an excellent screenwriter. He wrote the first draft of Phantom Menace and Phantom
Oh,
Menace
no.
won an
He also
Oscar
wrote the
for
great
Where-
line, I don't
screenplay.
like sand. It's rough and gets everywhere. That's just good dialogue right there, man.
Look, I'll say, what do we think about this? You think that they're going to use this whole multiverse thing to bring like Venom into the MCU,
Yes.
or are we supposed to assume that this Venom is already going to be a part
I
of it?
think it is. That gives them like leeway to do whatever they want. I mean,
Yeah.
you could use that as, oh, we're bringing him in because there's a multiverse. There's this, and this. So it kind of, I don't want to say it's a cop out, but it also just allows them to do whatever they want. Like
Yeah, it's
legitimately
a-
whatever they want.
it's a cheap and easy way for them to be like, oh, here's this guy now. He's in this movie. You know,
Oh,
I feel like it's going
I-
to bother a lot of people, though, because, like,
like
you
the
already
purists
have to
like
watch
you.
all these movies and TV shows to catch up. And then it's
I
like,
would
oh,
love
hey,
that.
remember those old movies that nobody watches? Yeah, now you have to watch
Whoa.
those. Those are a part of it now.
I think what's important to notice, even though I don't want to bring this movie up because I think it'll explain it best, but in the Morbius trailer, they did show that
Spider-Man
Vulture. They showed the Spider-Man poster, but also Vulture. Michael Keaton, who played Vulture, he does appear in the trailer. They pretty much showed the after credits in the trailer because they knew not a lot of people were probably not going to watch the movie. So they want you to
A
know.
comment is coming. Just wait. It's
That's how
coming.
they make you watch it now. They're like, hey, if you want to get any of these references, you got to go watch this other movie.
Yeah. Yep, we got Michael
Vaughn
Keaton.
just brought up Cheers.
So
Cheers is a
maybe
good movie.
I guess we're gonna wonder if that means already part of the MCU or Vulture multiverse into the worst timeline in the Spider Universe with Morbius. So I guess we'll find that
Wait,
out.
is the Morbius film even still coming out, or
A good question.
oh,
It is. I think it was delayed and no one cared.
yeah.
It's
So,
supposed to
who-
come out at some
We have a
point.
comment here from the Don one that says, I hope your Wi-Fi slows down for the Morpheus joke. So I'm just-
Morpheus joke.
My Wi-Fi's not gonna slow down. I got fiber optics here. I'm not gonna say the company name because they're not sponsoring us, but I got fiber optics in it, so Wi-Fi is fine here, folks.
Hey, speaking of sponsors, we actually have one of our sponsors here on the show today. Thank you to Bear Whiskey for sponsoring the channel.
How many episodes you got out?
Not yet, but he will.
Nope, I'm on delay just like Morbius is.
Oh. I see you guys say delay. I think it just takes art time to, be perfected. So it'll be good.
Actually make it a good film.
Yes, I'll be the one first at the box office to watch it with Don Juan.
I'm gonna see it. Like I'm not joking.
What are you
I'm gonna see
talking?
it. I'm a
They're
fan
not-
of vampire
They're
stuff.
not doing
you know.
reshoots or anything. It's delayed. It's a copy. It's a file in a computer somewhere, locked in, and then they're not going to bring it out unless it's for post production.
All right,
I wonder why it's
Spielberg, thank you
taking
for
so
breaking it down. You know what I forgot we didn't talk about? We didn't talk about Owen Wilson's Emmy nomination performance.
Let's do it.
I don't know if you're saying that as a joke, but seriously, that was like, and I love Owen Wilson. He's a goofy.
Wow.
Most of his characters are
Wow.
pretty goofy and all that, but I felt like that was like the most heartfelt Owen Wilson I've seen, and he
Thank you,
pulled it off
Sheen.
without even trying too hard. It was just like you felt his character, even though it was something simple like a jet ski. You felt his character, and I thought that was like, that was like good on him, and also good chemistry with like Tom Hiddleston as well. Like even better chemistry than his chemistry with Jackie Chan in Shanghai Noon.
Whoa.
You're right. I'm sorry.
You're talking about the fact that he never even got to be on a water ski.
Jet ski.
That was criminal. That's the real bad guy.
They're saving it for season 2, dude. That's season 2's payoff. He's on a jet
That's
ski.
that's the whole like arch of season 2, and then at the end you end up it's him on a jet ski the whole time.
Only for him to be killed by Aquaman or something.
Freaking Namor.
Namor shows up.
That leads into Black Panther.
Yeah. He goes, jet ski, Namor pops up, Black Panther.
And it's Jared Leto.
Oh, God.
In a mermaid costume.
Doesn't
who
he
I
just
think
wear
played
like a
in
G-string
Namor?
or something? Like Namor doesn't.
Namor is Jared. Damn.
Henry Golding should play Namor.
Oh, it'd be
Oh, man,
excellent.
he's going to hate
It's gonna be excellent. He has a broad like range of acting. Just
He's
Great chemistry like Jared Leto and Margot Robbie.
Come
are
on,
you
man.
sure? Are you sure he's not saying Margot Robbie carried Jared Leto? I don't know. Maybe you're saying that.
Very good. There's a reason why she got 2 spin-off movies.
Which were really bad.
Birds of Prey was all right.
Birds of Prey wasn't that bad. Trust me, it
To
wasn't.
Birds
who?
of Prey was fine.
Guy
Albert, you were
watches
the
one.
only one to watch it, man.
I mean,
I
I
watched
watched it on HBO Max, so I didn't watch
See,
it.
I saw it in theater.
You saw it in theater? But yeah,
I
it
did.
was
I paid money for
solid.
it.
It was still better than Suicide Squad.
It was.
Amazing.
Birds of
Most
Prey
things
was
are.
better than Suicide Squad.
I mean, anything's better than Suicide.
You're right.
Amazing
Yes,
Spider-Man was better.
Whoa,
Yes.
whoa, that's not
Yes.
pushing it.
Spider-Man 3?
You don't tell me. It's
Andrew
not.
Garfield's Spider-Man is way
I actually
better
kind of
than
like Suicide
Squad.
Squad. I'm probably gonna
Yeah.
get myself.
Oh
I
my
liked
God.
it.
I
but
did kind of like it.
I did, but I want to see the different cut.
Sure.
Supposedly, people want to see it.
Yeah, we're not doing this cut again, dude.
No,
No, that's right.
no. We already got the
Hashtag
Snyder
different
cut.
We did.
No, we're good with just Snyder cut.
Yeah, apart from, I'm trying to think who other actors were in Loki besides Owen Wilson.
Oh, hold on. Classic Loki. What's his name?
Oh, yeah, he was in Logan also.
Yes. He was like incredible. Like, that one scene where he's like, trying to distract about the whole city. He was like,
He builds Oz behind him, just like the Emerald City.
yeah.
I thought it was Asgard.
I thought it was pretty damn entertaining.
It was just.
It was Asgard.
We'll agree.
So-
What was that?
So-
Emerald
You
City.
didn't get the parallels between the Wizard of Oz and this entire show.
Yes,
No,
The man behind the
Well,
curtain.
I've never seen The Wizard of
To
Oz.
be fair, a lot of things do a Wizard of Oz thing. Everyone does the man behind the curtain.
Richard E. Grant.
Richard E. Grant, thank you.
That's his name.
Yeah, he was great. And then
And
Alligator.
How about that alligator? That
yeah,
alligator.
what's the name of the
Alligator
alligator
was
that
The alligator
He
is
had the-
second best character.
Is
Is
he
he
had
a
the
Loki?
Thanos
or was
copter
he
in the
just
background too?
Yeah.
Yep.
They did a good job with like the little Easter eggs throughout the whole movie.
The King building in the background was actually Stark Tower, but it was King.
You had a
Yeah,
Thor.
his name.
Or-
There was a
There's a
Thor
lot
fight
of
in
Easter
there, too.
eggs all throughout Limbo. Not Limbo. null space, end of time. There's a lot of Easter eggs. Yeah.
But I mean, if anything, like I feel like Disney Plus has something with these like Marvel shows. Like I think a lot of people when they first like heard about them, like, oh, this is just a it's a cheap way for people to subscribe to Disney Plus. They're probably gonna phone it in like they did with Agents of Shields and other stuff. But I mean, if anything, like whether we're arguing about what's the best and whatnot, I feel like at least all three there's quality to it, right?
I think that it fulfilled like our like void of not having it for a whole year. I'll say that. I think it was more than enough.
Yeah, a void, but
good.
also like a good part of the entire MCU. Like we can include this with like a lot of the feature films that are going to be coming out.
Now, how popular do you think these shows would have actually been had COVID not actually happened and like kind of like shut that whole thing down? It's like now there's so much more of a focus because there's like even people that would not want to get into Marvel are like, oh wait a minute, I literally have nothing to watch.
Yeah.
Screw it, I'll just watch this. I have to.
Now they're watching.
I literally have
No, there's some truth to that because people watch like me. I watched Tiger King. I would have never watched it if it wasn't for the
Best
I did
documentary ever,
not
right?
watch Tiger King. I am proud to say I did not.
Why
I
not?
did.
No
Albert?
better than Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Just saying.
But that's a
Hey.
good question though. What movie would have came out during? It would have just been what, Black Widow, if I remember correctly. There was the only one.
No,
That was the only one. Spider-Man was supposed to come out like last month or something. Technically.
Yeah,
Eternals was
She was
supposed
supposed to come out too. Yeah.
Everything got
I think-
pushed.
I think for
Mobius
the
would've came
hype,
out.
I think WandaVision got a lot of hype because it was the first Marvel we had in like almost a year.
But it was well done. It was
Yeah, I
really
think
Yes.
I think they would have been popular, but not to the extent that we see it now. But it kind of reminded me of like growing up. It's like, oh my god, I got to wait a week for a new TV show, or like
Yeah.
some streaming services allow you to just watch everything in one sitting.
Yeah.
But
Correct.
they're smart by doing it week by week, though.
It
I mean,
causes
I
the hype.
kind
to
of like
grow.
that though, like the
Hype
fact that they
don't
did it that way.
I think also Disney Plus needs to do that because it's not like they have a lot of original content to keep people.
They don't.
To be fair,
Hulu and
I
Netflix.
bought Disney Plus because it had Boy Meets World and it had X-Men
What?
animated series.
Boy Meets World.
Why did
That
I
was
get
one of
Disney Plus?
And them and Dude Behind the Fence.
I think Mandalorian came out pretty soon after.
Yeah, but nobody watches Star Wars. Though. I mean, it's like
Look,
I saw someone's eyes get
I'm
red.
not
you come after my boy, I come after yours.
Look,
dude.
I'm not a Star Wars fanatic like some people here, but I thought Mandalorian was legitimately a well done
That was
It
really
was.
well done.
thing and one of the
Mandalorian
best
was
things.
top notch.
It was
For
okay.
a second-rate show is all right. Yeah.
For a TV show? For a TV
since-
show, Mandalorian.
Since we're showing action figures, I want to show you my Loki variants. I got this Loki here from QFig.
Okay.
It's really cool. Like it has the thing where he's like flipping like the daggers like he did in Ragnarok. And then the other Loki variant I have is Loki. This is Matt Damon. His character was named Loki.
from
He played
Dogma.
the Archangel Loki in
I
Dogma.
see what you did.
He was
Buddy
actually
Christ.
quite mischievous as well. Maybe in a more violent sense, but I think this is important to note. Yeah.
Oh, hold it up.
So this is important variant. All right. This is
What is it?
from the classic movie Dogma, and then this is one of Matt Damon's greatest performance. I think the last episode I was talking about how Matt Damon can be super bland. Not in this movie though. So
Matt Damon.
I don't know where Dogma is streaming because the Weinsteins have have been greedy among with other things they have done. But
Harvey Weinstein.
if you could, Harvey Weinstein. If you find Dogma, look forward to Matt Damon's performance as Loki.
Barnaby and Loki, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon were actually really good in that film together. Honest answer, I've seen Dogma a bunch. Right?
Oh, I've seen Dogma. Like, hey, this is
13th
Ben
Apostle.
Oh, is that? Hold on, wait. Is that
Barnaby, that's Barnaby.
Affleck?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's
Ben
Barnaby.
Affleck. Yeah.
Why does it look like John Cena?
Yeah, it does look like
John
John Cena with
Cena.
the button chin.
Super sweet.
But yeah, so those are my Loki variants and my shirt. I don't have anything else. Why is the camera still on me, guys?
We can't see you, Albert. We can't see
Dance.
This is Stan Lee from The Simpsons.
No, see.
This is important.
Hey, are we gonna see like all your toys?
We're doing show and tell, Albie.
Whoa.
So speaking of Ben Affleck, here's the McFarlane Toys Ben Affleck.
See,
That
it all
flick.
comes full circle. This is great.
And Nicolas Cage as Ghost Rider.
It's a great
Juan
movie.
says nobody agreed. No one watches Star Wars.
Thank you, Juan.
What do you mean nobody watches Star? What do you?
Everybody
Even when
watches
Star
Star
Wars
Wars.
is bad, people are gonna watch it. Like,
It's Star Trek.
it's a
not Star Wars.
brand.
Stuck.
All right, so yeah, I mean, now that we finally got our Marvel movie fix, I mean, since we're on topic of this, what do you guys think of Black Widow?
Ooh.
Okay, I like.
We talked about this last week, but now we have a bigger panel.
Okay.
We do.
I give it like a 7.
That one's okay. I give it.
I give it a solid 4.
And I know why. I know why.
I think that's harsh. I think it's harsh.
No.
Okay.
The entire trailer and them forcing Black Widow down our throats for like 2 years
Okay.
was based off of Taskmaster being the
Okay.
bad guy, right? You
Okay.
get there and it's a robot that gets stuff downloaded onto its neck after being brainwashed.
And I
That
can,
character was
I can
so
agree with
big in the
that.
MCU that it literally fought everybody. And they just took this character and were like, okay, we're just going to kind of just throw it away.
And-
Because, like, the character itself is good. I don't mind. Like, I like that they made her a woman. Cool.
Yeah.
I didn't like that they took the character's whole identity and were like, we're going to change everything about this character and make everything that makes it special into a downloadable chip that her dad made. Like, instead of giving her an actual personality, an actual, like, drive, they made it so it's like, oh, I'm controlling everything, and that's it. And they're just going to shunk her to the side, you know?
And
I'm not going to disagree with that. No, keep going, Rob.
no, I was just gonna say, and the main villain's big evil thing, he's got pheromones.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay,
That's smart, man. That's smart of the Russians.
You just, what if he changed his soap? Like, it's just gonna get fucked.
What if
Okay.
he changes his
So
soap?
I don't necessarily disagree with what both Bear and Rob said. Those were weak points. In fact, last episode I said most of the weak points was in the third act. And I think
Saw
one,
it today.
especially with Taskmaster, a lot about had to do with marketing and release date. They marketed the shit out of that movie using Taskmaster. Plus, that movie should not have been released now. That should have been released after Civil War and had a more natural, it should have been a more natural part of the story. There was no reason to go like, hey, Black Widow died. Still,
Surprise.
watch this movie. No.
2 years
Just
later.
had a release after Civil War, and that would actually made it more
Yeah.
give more meaning to Black Widow's death in Endgame. But no, they wanted the scheduling was really weird. But what I thought was really good about that movie, though, because I wasn't expecting this when watching the trailers, because mostly because I don't trust trailers to begin with, was the amount of like effort they put into not just the death of Black Widow, but like her fake family. Like Florence Pugh, yes, we all know that she stole the movie. I thought David Harbour was like incredible as what she called her, the Crimson Dynamo, but he was like Captain Russia. And then Rachel Weisz. Rachel Weisz is good in everything she's in. Watch The Mummy to like understand that. But she was really good.
With
That
Brendan
whole
Fraser?
family dynamic worked. It worked with the chemistry between them. That whole like dinner scene they had was really good, and the family dynamic even worked without Scarlett Johansson and Florence Pugh, because that opening scene, with the parents and like the kids, that was one of the best opening scenes I've seen in a Marvel movie in a long time. Where they're you got this fake Russian family going through Americana, listening to American Pie. And then they had like a, awesome like escape scene with like the airfield and the plane and all that. Like you could have almost made that a short film. And I thought that was like pretty amazing to watch.
Having said that, it's still a 6 or 7 out of 10.
Sure.
I liked it.
But honestly, that is better than what I thought, because again, I went like, why are we releasing a Black Widow movie when we know she's dead? So honestly,
Red Guardian
6 or
was
7,
great.
I give it an 8 out of 10. At least they put effort into most of the characters. Unfortunately, not enough effort into Taskmaster, but I think they gave enough like effort into the ensemble of that, and that to me that made it like worth it.
I think the best part of the movie came out after the movie came out. I don't know if you like follow like the Instagram.
The Instagram.
The Instagram. So they
You're
released
on the MySpace, guys.
So you know the guy that he arm wrestles while he's getting tattooed, the
Yeah,
big
Ursa
buff dude,
Major.
and he like breaks his arm. He's supposed to be Ursa Major, which is an X-Men character. He also fights like the Hulk and everybody in like comic books. He can turn into a giant bear. That's his power. And I think that's kind of cool. I just think that was kind of a cool thing that they kind of hinted at the X-Men a little bit, even though he probably got buried with all that, random snow.
Nah,
Yeah,
he'll bear it.
the bulletproof helicopters, stuff like that. I get it.
Also, I do have one question. Like, why was she all messed up about killing this one kid, or potentially killing this one kid, but she totally wiped out this entire prison of just people going?
Sure.
Yeah.
All the collateral damage to these cars, all the insurance companies that now have to deal with that.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're making a mess.
Sure.
Yeah.
My car got
I can
messed
do
up.
that.
My big thing is like, this character's supposed to be a good guy, let's say, but then she's like, oh, it shows that she's a bad person because she goes, that's collateral damage. Let me kill this kid and her dad. But then at the end, it's like she's back to being a good person because so technically she didn't kill the kid. I'm like, that's not the point. She still tried to.
Still killed the kid.
She's still a bad person. Like, it doesn't change anything just because it happened to not, kill the kid. You're still a bad person for going, you know what? Whatever. It just doesn't make any sense. You can't make that arc and then be like, just kidding, she's a good guy because it didn't happen.
So, okay, but imagine if that movie came out after Civil War. Then maybe we could have played something with that in like the movies after that. Maybe that would give her more fuel why she had to sacrifice herself in Endgame, because she goes like, I've done a lot of pretty shitty things. Let me do this one good thing for humanity, and then boom. But instead, because of like marketing reasons, they didn't do that.
Is one of the shitty things that she made the Black Widow movie?
I think that was her like consolation prize because they're like, sorry, we didn't make your movie. Here it is right now.
I just feel like there was
That's
too
all
many
it was.
cooks in the kitchen with that. It was just they had it delayed for so long, and everyone kept editing everything. It just kind of got muddled together.
They should have released that after Civil War.
I think the placement of it. I think it's just the placement. That's why it takes it down from like what it could be, takes it down to like a 5, 6, like a bare set of 4. Like I think the placement of where it was placed just ruins the whole. Like, well, we know she's already dead, and this is like, do we really need to know the backstory? I mean, cool, but I think the placement of where it was kind of ruined everything for the rest of it.
I mean,
And
she's
the
a cool
fact-
character. They just ruined a great villain for a
Okay, I gotta ask, man, because I read that a lot where like a lot of purists don't like Taskmaster. Were you upset at the way they did Thanos then? Because technically it's a far away from what it was in the source material in the comics. It was death that was his driving factor, not balancing the universe. So if we're doing this, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, so Thanos at the end of Endgame, I did not like him at all. I thought that his character was kind of like thrown in there, and they're like, we need Thanos back. Let's grab him from another time period and bring him over. And then his whole arc was this short little jump to where he's like, oh, she has an Infinity Stone. I got to go get him now, and that's it. Versus the other Thanos where they built up over the years. They just kind of threw in this random guy, this random other timeline Thanos. So
Right.
I didn't like that.
but you like the Infinity War Thanos,
I did like the Infinity War Thanos.
even though it's far different from what he was in the comics.
Yeah, they actually made the character, decent. Versus,
You didn't think
hey, let's-
Taskmaster?
What was decent about Taskmaster the entire time? What part of
They
Taskmaster
found a
was
way-
actually a good character?
They were able to find a way for the character to mimic moves in a way that's realistic. I get it. There's magic and hammers and Thors and all that stuff. But for that type of movie, they were able to find a way to have that character mimic stuff identical instead of just training and learning. Because isn't that what Taskmaster is in the comics? They
Yeah.
just mimic, right? Yeah. So they're able to find do it through.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Taskmaster in the comic book was that was his whole skill was being able to mimic, and it wasn't like, it's like Arrow, like he can shoot arrows really, really good. That's his whole power. That's what makes him semi-reachable to reality. versus someone who has an eidetic memory that can literally mimic everything that everybody does. And that's what makes this character super dangerous and super high level. That's a thing that happens. Eidetic memories are an exact, it's something that happens. And this character being so different that he can mimic movements and still take down these super powered beings without having any powers by himself. That's what makes this character so great versus this brainwashed robot to where it's like, so does that mean everything, because the brainwashing went away, does that mean everything was deleted? Does she have to have consistent updates? Like
updates.
If she fights anybody else, can she remember their moves, or does she have to have somebody download their moves onto her brain?
You have to have someone download it.
But who's going to download it if her dad got blown up?
Somebody.
I think there's room for that character, though. I mean, she can appear in other movies. Like,
could this be like I hate to use the word variant, but could someone else pick up the mantle?
This movie was supposed to be called the Taskmaster movie. Then I'd be annoyed. But this isn't the Taskmaster movie. They just use the Taskmaster, to like just work with the story. I think you can easily bring back Taskmaster into the MCU and do something really awesome with that. It's not like the worst part of the Wolverine movie was because like they did a bad job with Deadpool. That was a horrible part of the movie. But overall, the movie was bad because it was just a bad movie overall. There was no chemistry between the other characters. There wasn't really any memorable action sequences.
That was a good movie.
You guys think you love Lee Schreiber as like Sabretooth?
Oh yeah, man!
Said the best duo in the world is Hugh Jackman.
Rob's just shaking his head.
Yeah,
that's Ray Donovan, dude. I do not like Ray Donovan.
Also,
so many factors into a film that I don't think we can just bring it down to that one aspect.
Wait, real quick.
I think, especially in a franchise where you can bring some of these characters back easily.
Sure, I mean they can do what they're doing with the Mandarin. Like, hey, he was a crappy villain. Now we're gonna redeem it. It's like, yeah, you can do it with Taskmaster, but it's
honestly, it was an easy redemption. To tell you the truth, I did this one shot with Ben Kingsley, and you found out there was an actual Mandarin out there, and now he's gonna show up in Shang-Chi, played by hold on.
He's got the figure.
Played by Tony Leung Chiu Wei, one of the greatest actors ever.
It's still in the box.
It's still in the box.
My man, keep it in that box, man.
He's gonna come out, but I'm just saying. But see, I don't think we ever thought the Mandalorian was gonna come back. Not the Mandalorian was gonna come back
for season 2, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Roj?
So I'll cut it. So I'll do 2 parts. First, we'll talk about Taskmaster shortly. As a geek Tony Masters fan, you can Google his real name, obviously. But I'm a fan of the character. I told one of my other friends, I said, I don't think they should have Taskmaster in the movie at all.
Yeah.
But that's as a fan. As a business standpoint, you bring attention to the character, yada, yada. You can reuse it to cancel it. Sheen's thing. Tiger's Blood. Off of Taskmaster, I can say more, but I want to keep it short. I had a second point. Thanos. About Thanos, yes. So being someone who read Infinity Gauntlet, yada, 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 I'm geeking out again. Here's my trilby or my fedora, my beard. The death motivation wouldn't have worked for MCU, but it worked, right? I liked Thanos' motivation didn't really make any sense with the equation of the universe. It had to do something because he needed a big bad. Bringing him back in the sequel to Infinity War, I don't like Endgame that much. What was I forgot the sequel to Endgame. There was no sequel. But I think Infinity War is better than Endgame. I think Endgame was the same movie, except, big splash scene. But don't get me started on that. I probably got the hate right now. But yes, I want the concept of death. Taskmaster shouldn't have been in the film unless you want to make money off the character. If you're going to do, I think you're going to do it right, or do it at least 2% better than what they did. But toys sell, she can come back. I don't care. I'm cool as a woman. I guess I was a woman in the trailer. I was like, that's a woman. That's why I kept telling y'all, that's a woman. That's cool. The little bit they did was cool, but it did make the character unique. I'm done.
I feel like they did the same thing with like The Hobbit and the Battle of the Five Armies. If you remember, the posters, the trailers all had Smaug in them, and that was the huge deal. It was like, Smaug's going to be this big dragon, and the whole thing is going to be this huge fireball and fight throughout the whole movie. and then you see it and Smaug dies in the first 4 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, you're like, what?
Like, it didn't need to happen. Like, you take this great character and you're like, okay, he's done. Like, and why did you hype him up so much in the trailers and the posters and everyone's looking forward to it? And then you have to deal with the rest of the movie without Smaug. You know, it's the same thing with this. You hype up this main bad guy, and then you realize this main bad guy is just kind of controlled by somebody else. Again, brainwashed robot instead of having a thought process for himself or herself.
Or Bane. Surprise, Bane was under Talia's control all along, working for
I'm
Talia.
gonna be sorry with that.
The worst Batman.
That was Dark Knight
Which
Rises.
was-
go.
What?
Yeah. Great. I hate to say it, but Dark Knight Rises sucked, and
What?
even Christopher Nolan was phoning it in because Christopher Nolan didn't want to do a sequel. Because when Heath Ledger died, he goes like, you know what? Let's just leave it at that. But then I'm pretty sure WB went up to Christopher Nolan and go like, look,
How much you want?
if you give us another Batman movie, we'll do your stupid dream movie about a dream within a dream. We don't understand that, but
Was that
please give us
Inception?
a Batman movie, and we'll let you do whatever you want with that. Oh, and hire Leonardo DiCaprio for that because we need star power because we still don't understand what is it? Inception. Okay.
Injection.
Give us that.
Thinking of the wrong movie there, buddy.
Give us Dark Knight Rises. And then Christopher Nolan probably went like, all right, let me look through the Batman villain list. Okay, A, I don't know. B, Bane. Okay, all right, that's our villain,
Nice.
guys.
I love that whole act. That was great. The reps, I could see the suit on you, superimposed
Exactly.
on your body. I could see it. The injection.
That's what I'm saying.
That's good.
Hear us out.
Yeah, he's just kind of this whole pitch is like it's about a dream, or you do Batman 3. Oh, man.
Okay, but to kind of like wrap up the whole villain thing, so like if you remember earlier when we were like, hey, you know, what's a great villain, like with WandaVision and all that, it's a really great vision because there's a character you can relate to him, they have depth to them, all that. Taskmaster is just this boring killing machine, which is like you're hyping him up as this is the main antagonist. He's not even the main antagonist, he's kind of like the sidekick to the main antagonist. And he's a exactly. And he's like not really that major kind of thing, and the main villain of it is someone like you're like, oh, okay, ooh, what? Who cares? Like pheromones? All right, whatever. And it's
Supposed to do what?
like, wow, we got even happier villain. It's not like, you know, he was a sidekick to someone even greater. It's like, whoa, it's just a sidekick to like, wait, what?
Just
Like,
some
okay,
random guy.
now it's like it's a killing machine. Now that killing machine, if they did that to Taskmaster, then you gotta have someone really great as your antagonist. That was a big reveal and be like, okay, this person outshines him. It makes sense now. But it's just like, like that. Also, one thing with the marketing, like, yeah, it was predictable that it was going to be a woman because a lot of these things are kind of predictable that way now. But the shooting and the placement is not how a female body would carry that. It's like
Correct.
it looks so wrong, and I was just like,
Correct.
you
It's
have
not
a
how a woman would do that.
male double, and
Yeah.
you're CGIing the head
Yeah.
on it. It's like, what? No, couldn't you adjust the suit to that? Also, another thing with the tone, they wanted Born Identity tone, and I was like, all right, cool, this could be a cool Marvel take. And then all of a sudden, you got this dude walking around with armor, and it's like, that's so not believable. It's like Darth Vader. It's like, what are you doing, man?
My friend pointed that out. My friend was like, "Hey, it's a man. The male's a stunt double because the armor and shoulders are wrong." I'm like, "You're right." Yeah. So both Rob and my friend agree. Yeah, I agree.
I take offense to that. I'm part robot, dude. So I take a lot of offense to that.
Walk through this exploding metal detector. Remember?
Yeah.
Are you a robot? Any part of you being a robot? Loki, full circle. And a melts
Do you think they
inside
would
out.
do the same thing with, like, obviously we have not seen a trailer for Spider-Man yet. Do you think that they're gonna, like, even though we want it to be Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield to be in there, do you think
Yes.
they would just? I agree. I think both of them should be in there. But do you think they'll do the whole aspect of not going to show them at all and then last minute, or just not show them at all?
Because Sony does the marketing, and Sony's really, like Albie said earlier, they're stupid about putting their ending in the trailers.
No.
Even though it's Marvel, it's still Sony running it.
But also, I feel
Makes
like,
sense.
I don't think they're going to necessarily like risk too much and like have them be like a significant part. They'll probably have like one little like Easter egg scene that they'll hype up as this major thing. Be like, oh, look at them! You saw them in the background.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
Okay, so here's the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario, they're probably going to be cameos, as Rob was saying. I say
Yes.
the best case scenario, if they really want to do this right, they got to actually utilize them. I'm not saying through the entire movie. They got to utilize them at some point where we have this epic scene where 3 Spider-Mans are fighting all these different Spider-Man villains together, and they find a way where they can like sequentially work together. That's in my head would be the most epic thing. They don't have to be in the entire movie. It would be like there has to be this one, at least one epic fight scene where they have to work together, and that'd be cool.
I want
it's wishful thinking. It's really
I want it to be that so bad, but there's a
Yeah.
part of me that feels like it's going to be some stupid thing where they're doing a Spider-Man movie in the movie, and it's
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire
Oh,
and Andrew
no.
Garfield on set playing Spider-Man, just troll us.
I'm
Honestly,
hoping for
Garfield is
Albie's
my
best
favorite,
scenario.
but he
Best
has
safe
another
scenario.
white.
Or
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire comes in and he
I see it
saves he saves Mary Jane once, and he goes like, and then Tom Holland goes like, "Thank you, other Spider-Man," and he goes like, "Everyone gets one."
Oh, from Family Guy. It's either that or watch them like work at the Daily Bugle. They're just like Jameson or J. Jonah Jameson's like assistant or something. I would.
Oh, God. I'm also a photographer, and that's it.
God.
Pizza time.
That would be horrible.
That's all I want.
Oh, the landlord to come back.
Just give him the
Give me a minute.
pizza delivery boy. Pizza
For
time.
Christmas meat,
Come on, that's like
Pizza
the best
time.
line in that movie.
it is.
All right. We're closing in over an hour here, guys. I gotta go play with my action figures here in a little bit. Any closing
Nice.
thoughts before we peace out?
I thought it was a great show. I thought it.
Yeah, back to Loki.
Back to Loki.
I mean, it gets me excited for like future Marvel movies and TV shows. I think it ties in well with what they have planned for the future, and you can kind of see the direction they're leaning towards. So you're not just kind of like thrown into the middle of it and have no idea what's going on with like the multiverse of madness and Spider-Man and stuff. And you kind of can understand what's about to come out and where it comes from. It also forces people to get Disney Plus so they can understand what's going on.
Could you imagine? It's like somebody's new to it. Do I gotta watch all 20 films?
There's how many episodes? Jeez.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of cool how they're kind of opening up the multiverse, and it's kind of like, oh, cool. Here's some advertisements of what's gonna be coming down the pipeline. Good advertisement, you know. Any final thoughts? No.
Solid.
So, wait, who's turn?
You can go.
Okay. Am I happy this is Loki season 2? Yes. Was season 1 fun? Yes. Tom Middleton's wait, I got his last name wrong. What is it?
You got it right.
No, you got it right.
Tom Hiddleston.
Tom Middleton's money helped make the show I watched the whole time.
Is that Al Bundy?
Al Bundy. All the characters meshed well. That I mean, I appreciate the Easter eggs more than anything, but the acting was good. Good enough to keep it going in interest for season 2. It did help set up other movies, so I guess that was his job.
So we think.
Oh,
They might be honeypotting us, dude. We don't know yet.
Mephisto.
You're right. They
Or
could.
Honey
Mephisto.
Honey
All
Bar.
right.
Hey, I'm still on that Mephisto train on WandaVision, but that's just me.
Yeah, man, too, man.
I will say that all 3 shows were obviously different, and I know we've said this multiple times that all 3 shows were different, but I think they each gave us something that we were missing from obviously not having Marvel for a whole year. Obviously, I think, and I told Pac-Man this, I think that our expectations were way high, but I think we got just what we needed, not too much. So I'm excited to see where it goes on. I'll say that.
I'll say this for a big company like Disney, which tends to just have like specific like standards, sometimes repeating the same story. I do like that all 3 of these MCU shows had something different.
He misspelled Suicide Squad. He got Suck Squad.
Gotta go watch Suck Squad on
That like
That's amazing.
I think he wasted $30. I'm just saying that now.
Oh man.
Man, the autocorrect knows what's up. So
What?
I do. So there are some positives of Suicide Squad. Maybe that's just me.
that's
Wow.
for another episode when
Like
that
the
comes out.
ending?
It was good.
Wait, Assault on Arkham was good though. That was the best Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with you on that. No, I thought that was good.
DCAU is actually dope.
Yeah, I think so.
So was Loki. So what's your final
But
thoughts on
no, look,
Loki?
I think the show took enough risks to like do something a little different and like giving us what we want. So I look forward to like more shows that come in the future because I feel like every show is gonna have like a different like thing for itself. Maybe even more so than the movies, because some people, even though I love the MCU movies, they do tend to feel like, you know, movies kind of having the same formula. But so far, the shows are trying to do like something different, and maybe because it's like, you know, it's episodic, so there's more episodes into it. But also, it's on a like TV platform. They feel more freedom to experiment. So I look forward to like what happens in the future, especially after what we've seen here. So, yeah.
Okay, so that's it. Is that on me now? All right.
I was going,
Yeah.
you're writing notes there?
No. It's a great show. I agree.
Albert's a
with...
psych. Albert's a
No,
psych.
let's not say that.
Make note of that.
No, I thought the payoff was good. Like I said, I didn't expect Jonathan Majors to show up, which was cool, and it definitely sets up the multiverse. But I'm not getting my hopes up just yet because they've been known to, you know, let us down, Ralph Boner. So I can't get too excited. But before we sign off, do we have any words from our sponsor, Bear Whiskey, the official sponsor of the Pack Photos channel?
Official channel launching next month sometime. Already have some stuff in the works. Instagram, podcast, and YouTube. Gonna have a lot of different people on, a lot of, you know, honest reviews and some cool history behind a lot of whiskeys. So.
And I have never had whiskey before, so I will try whiskey for the first time with Bear
Liar.
Whiskey.
Yeah.
What have I had whiskey?
You never had
drink
whiskey? You never
Wine
had, like,
coolers and
Okay.
No, I have
We
to
gotta find
agree. I
something
think
nice
it's just
and
been
sweet
vodka
for you.
and tequila.
That's how, yeah. It's I mean, the whole point of the channel is essentially just going to be honest reviews. So you get a lot of YouTube channels that are they try to be as like proper as they can. Like, oh, I can taste this, this, and this. I smell this, this, and this. Me being a very big whiskey guy, I can break down flavors and scents a little bit better than most people. But bringing people onto the channel that just like whiskey or have never had whiskey or just aren't normal whiskey drinkers, you get honest reviews about specific whiskeys. So if you're just kind of interested in learning about whiskey or just want to know, you know, if a whiskey's good, have somebody that likes whiskey, and, you know, I have a very large collection and everything, and then have somebody, oh yeah, Albert.
Here's my honest
what I call
review.
whiskey, but
I got Old Forester Kentucky Straight Bourbon 1920 Prohibition style. Here's what I taste. I taste 57.5% of alcohol. 115 proof.
Forsters, the official
So
sponsor.
it's
for the
okay.
Forces.
Like, the whole point is to get real people on that want to talk about this whiskey. So if you're a normal person that doesn't know anything about this whiskey, going to the ABC store or a liquor store and picking up this whiskey, what are you going to expect from this if you're not a normal whiskey drinker or if you've never had it before? What's an honest interpretation of it? So if I go in and I'm like, well, with this whiskey, you know, it says that it's supposed to taste like green apple and caramel and all this stuff. It's like, but that's not everybody's first reaction to it. Like my wife, when she drinks whiskey, she goes, yeah, it tastes like whiskey. That's it. Like if you can have somebody who's not a normal whiskey drinker or a hardcore whiskey fan drink something and help you kind of, hey, if you're not into whiskey and you try this, this is what I taste as somebody who's not familiar with breaking down flavors. Like if somebody can taste a whiskey and taste a different flavor, then it's more likely that someone who's not really a big whiskey person or just wants to try whiskey will help break down simple flavors like that too. the whole point is to help people kind of learn the history behind whiskeys and expand their whiskey knowledge and palates over time. I'm just trying to make it something that's very open for everybody without being too like, like over the top,
Well, I can't wait to try it, man. I know how our episode's gonna go.
I'm invited.
Oh man, this is too strong. You got any Pepsi?
Listen, there's no wrong way to drink whiskey unless you mix it with something,
Agree.
All right. So ending on this, Don Juan says, I'm unboxing Mike's Hard Lemonade right now. Let's do it, man. Get some wine coolers and Mike's Hard Lemonade. All right, guys. It looks like we've had 3 or 4 or 5 people here consistently watching. So thanks, guys, for watching, whoever you are. Pack Photos, Bear Whiskey, A Fun Guy, Sheen, Robin, Sarah, and Albie signing out.
All right.
Bye.